Before the iPhone. Before Android. And long before smartphones became a part of everyday life, there was one name that seemed almost impossible to defeat. Nokia. At its peak, Nokia phones were everywhere. They were famous for incredible battery life, simple design, and a reputation for being almost indestructible. For millions of people, a Nokia was their first mobile phone. And then, something happened. One of the world's most dominant mobile phone brands suddenly found itself struggling to survive in the smartphone revolution. But how did a company that once dominated the mobile phone industry lose its position? And how did Nokia go from basic phones with tiny screens and the legendary Snake game to modern Android smartphones and today's feature phones? The answer is one of the most fascinating stories in technology. Stay until the end, because the rise, fall, and transformation of Nokia shows just how quickly the technology world can change. And if you enjoy discovering how legendary technology evolved over time, subscribe to the channel now, because more incredible evolution stories are coming. The story of Nokia begins long before mobile phones. In fact, Nokia's history stretches all the way back to the 19th century. The company that would eventually become famous for mobile phones had roots in industries far removed from the smartphones we know today. Over time, Nokia expanded into different businesses, including electronics and telecommunications. Eventually, communication technology would transform the company forever. As mobile communication developed, Nokia became increasingly involved in the emerging world of mobile phones. During the 1980s and early 1990s, mobile phones were very different from what we carry today. They were often large, heavy, and expensive. But technology was improving quickly. Phones became smaller. Networks became more advanced. And mobile communication began moving from a luxury for a limited number of people towards something ordinary consumers could actually use. Nokia saw the opportunity. During the 1990s, the company began producing phones that would help define an entire generation. Models such as the Nokia N95 represented an important era in the development of GSM mobile phones. But Nokia's greatest strength was not simply making phones. It was making phones that ordinary people could understand and use. Simple menus. Practical designs. Reliable hardware. And batteries that could seemingly last forever compared with many modern smartphones. Then came the phones that would turn Nokia into a cultural icon. In 1999, the Nokia 3210 arrived. Its simple design, internal antenna, customizable options, and accessible features helped make it enormously popular. And, of course, there was Snake. A simple game that became legendary. There were no massive open worlds. No advanced graphics. No online multiplayer battles. Just a snake moving around a tiny screen. And somehow, millions of people couldn't stop playing. Then came another Nokia legend. The Nokia 3310. Released in 2000, the 3310 became one of the most recognizable mobile phones of its era. Over time, it developed an almost mythical reputation for durability. Drop it? It might survive. Run out of battery? Probably not anytime soon. The 3310 represented what many people loved about Nokia. It was simple. Reliable. Easy to use. And built for everyday life. But the mobile phone industry was evolving. Consumers wanted more. Color screens began replacing monochrome displays. Phones started getting cameras. Mobile internet became increasingly important. Music, games, and multimedia features were becoming part of the mobile experience. Nokia responded with a huge variety of devices. Some were practical. Some were stylish, and some were extremely unusual. The company experimented with different shapes, keyboards, gaming devices, and smartphone designs. Phones such as the Nokia 7650 represented Nokia's movement into camera-equipped smartphones. The Nokia N-Gage attempted to combine mobile communication with handheld gaming. Later, Nokia's Nseries pushed further into multimedia, cameras, music, and internet features. Devices such as the Nokia N95 showed just how advanced Nokia could be. It offered features that seemed incredibly powerful for a mobile device at the time. For a while, Nokia appeared ready for almost anything. But then the entire industry changed. In 2007, Apple introduced the iPhone. Soon after, Android smartphones began spreading across the market. The definition of a mobile phone was changing. Physical keyboards and traditional button-based interfaces were giving way to large touchscreens. Apps became increasingly important. The mobile operating system became just as important as the hardware itself. The smartphone was becoming a pocket computer. And Nokia faced one of the biggest challenges in its history. Nokia had experience. It had brand recognition. It had millions of customers. And it had produced some of the most successful phones ever made. But the smartphone revolution was moving incredibly fast. Nokia's Symbian platforms struggled to compete with the rapidly evolving smartphone ecosystems around iOS and Android. The company needed a new strategy. Nokia eventually partnered with Microsoft and adopted Windows Phone for its flagship smartphones. This led to the Nokia Lumia era. Lumia phones stood out with colorful designs, distinctive hardware, and strong camera technology on several models. Some Lumia devices developed loyal followings. But Windows phones struggled to attract the same level of app support and market momentum as Android and iOS. For consumers, apps were becoming essential. And without a competitive app ecosystem, even impressive hardware faced a major disadvantage. Nokia's phone business entered a dramatic new chapter when Microsoft acquired Nokia's devices and services business. For a period, the Nokia name largely disappeared from new Lumia smartphones as Microsoft moved forward with its own branding. It seemed like the Nokia phone story might be approaching its end. But Nokia phones were not finished. The Nokia brand eventually returned to the consumer phone market through a licensing arrangement with HMD Global. New Nokia-branded devices included Android smartphones and modern feature phones. One of the most nostalgic moments came with the return of the Nokia 3310 name in a redesigned feature phone. It was a reminder of an era when phones were simpler, batteries lasted longer, and Snake was enough to keep people entertained. In the years that followed, Nokia-branded phones continued evolving, while HMD also began placing greater emphasis on devices under its own brand. The Nokia phone story had changed dramatically. From early mobile communication to the legendary 3210 and 3310. From camera phones and experimental designs to the powerful Nseries, from Symbian to Lumia and Windows Phone, and eventually to Android smartphones and modern feature phones. Nokia's evolution is more than the story of one phone company. It is the story of the entire mobile industry. It shows us that being number one today does not guarantee being number one tomorrow. Technology changes. Consumer expectations change. And sometimes, an entire industry can transform in just a few years. But even after all those changes, the Nokia name remains unforgettable for millions of people. Because for an entire generation, Nokia wasn't just another phone. It was their first phone. Their first text message. Their first mobile game. and perhaps their first experience of carrying the connected world inside their pocket. If you ever owned a Nokia phone, comment below and tell us which model you had. Was it the legendary 3310? The 3210? The N95? A Lumia? Or another Nokia classic? And if you enjoyed this journey through the evolution of Nokia phones, subscribe to the channel for more incredible evolution stories. Because the next piece of technology we explore might be something that changed your life without you even realizing it.